Hello and welcome. You're watching Medically Speaking Musics, and I'm Vaishali Sharma in conversation with Dr. Sushil Mandhania, Senior Medical Oncologist, AIIMS Nagpur. Welcome, sir.
Hello. Namaskar.
In this Breast Cancer Awareness Month special, we will be discussing about male breast cancer. Yes, you heard it right. So first of all, this term is a little uncanny for the layman, sir, that men can also be diagnosed with breast cancer. To break it down for the people, first of all, there is a lot of distinction between the hormonal composition of a male and a female. So then help us understand how can males possibly be susceptible to the breast cancer, and what are the risk factors and chance factors basically.
Hello, Namaskar. First of all, I congratulate you for this such a very good interview for awareness of the breast cancer. And as you had already mentioned, male breast cancer is a very rare thing, and generally people don't know that breast cancer male may be hota hai. Male do have the breast cancer. So I think this is a very right forum where we should discuss this. Male breast cancers are really rare as compared to the female. And if you talk about the data, we don't have Indian data, but when we talk about the US data also, we get approximately 2,000 to 2,400 male breast cancer per year. But when we talk about our hospital also, in last 10 years, we had seen 11 to 12 male breast cancers. So they are not rare. Why it does happens in these males? Secondly is, what are the type of the people who will have these male breast cancers, and what are the susceptible risk factors? They are more or less same as compared to the females. Most important thing we had seen in the male breast cancer is they are fat, they are obese. Obesity is very high in those patients. Second thing, they have got a very strong history of breast malignancies in the family, either mother or sister. So the genetical link is also there. Thirdly, there is a risk of sedentary lifestyle. Fourthly, there is sometimes they might be having some treatment where the some type of estrogen levels or some type of tumors which secretes estrogens. So these also can increase the risk of the breast cancer. And as we are already said, the heredity, that is BRCA1, BRCA2 positivity, it again gives a high risk factors for the breast malignancy. But most of the time we had seen very, very fatty females coming with the breast malignancies.
Point taken, sir. Now I'm very curious to know, sir, that talking about the diagnosis, of course, there are malignancies. The symptoms and diagnostic procedure must be different for men. So what would you say about that? Help us understand how symptoms and diagnostic procedures are different, or are they different, or are they same?
Okay. When we talk about breast cancer as a whole, in male or in female, more or less the symptoms are same. So first thing is symptom is what the patient perceives. Signs means what the clinician perceives. So generally the most common sign which we see in malignancy, either male or female, is lump, any lump in the breast. Second thing, it is a progressive increase in the size. Generally, when there is a decrease in size before the periods menses, it increases, and after the periods it decreases. That means it is a hormonal link. It is not very less likely it is to be malignancy. But if there is a progressive increase in the size of the breast, the second thing is age. If there is in the perimenopausal more than 40 years or postmenopausal breast lump, it should be taken very seriously. Thirdly, there is any change in the skin texture in the form of any small ulceration, skin dimpling over the breast, or any pudgy orange. That means it is like a cover of the orange. So if there is this type of thickness, redness, or any dimpling, it should be taken very seriously. Any change in the nipple size, any pulling of the nipple inside, or any scaling of the nipple, any ulceration around the nipple, or any discharge from the nipple in the form of either blood or serosanguinous in the form of red discharge or some greenish discharge, then the patient should be careful. There might be having something which might be turned out to be breast malignancy. Last but not the least, any lump in the axilla, that is in the axilla here, that means jisko bagal bolte hain. Agar any lump in that area with the breast lump, it is very, very likely that that person is having breast malignancy. So these are the symptoms.
So but when we talk about males में भी होती हैं, sir.
Yes. And the other part about the male is that generally it is very easily palpable as compared to the female, because the male breasts are not that bulky, that not mass as compared to the female breast. So that's why they get early breast mass. But the most unfortunate thing which I had seen in all my breast malignancies was they all had neglected that mass. यार ये कुछ नहीं है, normal है, कुछ नहीं है, fat है. So that means because they never thought that they can have breast malignancy. First thing. And second thing, it was a very odd thing to discuss with the doctor also, because that shyness is also there in the male part. Breast में गांठ है, breast cancer मुझे हो रहा है. They never want to disclose that. This is again thing which is also common in female, and this is also common in the male. So the easiest part is easily visibility, but the poor part is the lack of ignorance. And when we talk about diagnosis is very, very challenging here, because there are a lot of myths about the treatment part and diagnosis part. Cancer को छेड़ना नहीं, cancer की biopsy करने से cancer फैल जाता है. So when we talk about signs,
Okay.
You have to see if there is a lump in the breast. The most important part here is we have to get a very good history of the patient, because do you have any, how long it is there? Is it increasing with the menses? Is it decreasing after the menses, especially for the female? Then is your family have any history of breast cancer in the form of your mother, your masi, your sister, or your daughter? These are the four things. Or any history of male breast cancer in the family, or any history of oral malignancy in your family. If that history is there, then the risk of breast lump going into the malignancy increases. Third important thing is how to investigate that, because this is a very challenging part. People always avoid to get a biopsy done. The most important thing is first we do is we give a clinical examination. Just feel the size, just feel the texture, just feel the margin. Just by touching the mass, we have a nearly 90% possibility. Yes, this is malignancy, this is not malignancy. That is in the experience. I am into the field of oncology since last 17 years. So now just by seeing the lump and just by touching the lump, we can, most of the time we can make out, yes, this is not normal. This will mostly turn out to be malignant. So that is a clinical examination. Then lastly comes is your radiological examination. So once you are done with a good history, good clinical examination, thirdly, it is important is to get a correct diagnosis and correct staging. So the most important part among the diagnosis is what we do is we do a mammography just to see the lump, whether it is if there is a small lump, good margin, no calcification. Most probably we are dealing with the normal fibroadenoma, that is non-cancer, that is a benign. But if there is an irregular margin, lot of heterogeneity, multiple calcification, we are possibly dealing with a malignancy. So this is one thing which is seen on mammography. That's why mammography is used even in the screening methods, where the patient don't have any lump, but it can pick a very small lump which is not palpable on general examination. So second important thing is once the lump is diagnosed, once the lump is felt, once the lump is diagnosed, most important thing is to get a tissue diagnosis. Initially, in the era, lastly, maybe like 10 to 20 years back, it used to be done by cutting the skin. Now we don't need any cut. We don't need any stitches. It is by a small gun, we can get a small tissues, which are just at the size of our hairs, just that thin. That is simple biopsy. And once the biopsy is very important, and biopsy will give a lot of ideas. One is whether it is cancer. Second thing is if cancer, what grade, what type, then ER, PR, and HER2. These are the driving which mutation, driving molecular changes in the breast. And based upon these driving changes, we decide our treatment, whether to give chemotherapy first, whether to give surgery, whether to give target therapy. So this is the normal chronology of our investigation.
Okay.
And lastly is staging. So for staging, generally in the era of PET scan, generally we do PET scan for the patient so that we can decide whether this breast lump or breast cancer is just localized to your breast, had it spread to the axilla, or had it spread to the whole of the body in the form of either bone, liver, lungs, kidney, or brain.
So it can spread to various parts of the body as well.
Yeah, it can spread to various parts. Yeah.
So, we just talked about diagnosis, screening methods, and so moving on to treatment. So what are the modalities when it comes to male breast cancer, or even in general, you just talked about the cancer spreading to other parts of the body. So once cancer spreads to other parts of the body, are the modalities different, or and, and how complicated do they become for you?
See, the most important prognostic marker, prognostic point, which will tell you whether this patient is going to be alive or how much year she is or he is going to alive, is the stage at the diagnosis. This is like this: जितना stage कम उतना cure ज़्यादा, जितना stage high उतना cure rates are low. Very simple thing. So most important and most challenging thing is to diagnose at the very early stage, because if you don't diagnose at the early stage, your cure risk chances becomes very high. We'll give an example here. If you are diagnosing as a stage 1, we have got a cure rate of approximately 90% at the 5-year survival. But the same patient, same disease, if it is stage 4, it is less than 10% at 5 years. So such a dramatic change just because it was lately diagnosed. And there are reasons for late diagnosis for this.
Okay, sir. Rightly said, sir. Okay, I'll put on a point, sir, that 1 in 28 women is like in India, Indian woman is likely to develop breast cancer during her lifetime, sir. And it is seen that Indian women have more aggressive type of breast cancer than other population of the world. So why is it so?
See, there is one very good study here. In last 25 years, there is 4 major changes which we had seen in Indian females. Most important change was younger females coming with the breast cancer. So out of 100 patients, 48% of the patients are below the age of 50 years, which was not seen 25 years back. So that means this is one very alarming change which we are seeing in the Indian population: younger females coming with the breast cancer. Second alarming change we are seeing in the Indian females are very late presentation. Stage 3, stage 4 malignancy is coming at the diagnosis. So the reason here is I'll go to the reason next day. Thirdly is very aggressive malignancies. And fourth is higher death rates in the Indian females as compared to the Western population. These are more important. And for all these things, except for first thing, that is younger patients, for all last 3 things, late diagnosis, more mortality, and aggressive disease. So for all these things, most important risk factor here is late presentation. And the late presentation is mostly because most of the time these patients spend a lot of time in alternate medications. Once they get a diagnosis done, generally they don't go for curative treatment in the form of जैसी surgery के बारे में बोला जाता है, generally they say we don't want to get a surgery done, because for female that is a beauty organ that at any cost we can understand what mental trauma she is going to go through. Yes. So generally there is a very good saying in the oncology: once we get a diagnosis of cancer, friends and relatives behave like experts. They start giving contradictory advices कि ये कर लीजिए, वो कर लीजिए, ये जड़ी बूटी खा लो, वो जड़ी बूटी खा लो. ये इसके कारण what we see is कि stage 1 malignancy, when they end up getting stage 4 in next 3 to 4 months just by wasting time in this alternate medication. So most important thing is कि if we can diagnose early and if we can treat early, most of the patients are diagnosed early, but they don't go for radical treatment. Most of the time these advanced malignancies are wasted in the form of either ये मुझे कोई तकलीफ ही नहीं दे रही थी, इसमें कोई तकलीफ नहीं थी, why I should disturb my children. Then second is shyness about the mass, how I can show it to male doctor. So then shyness about the society, taking this malignancy as a stigma. These are again few more things which causes late presentations.
Okay. So when we talked about this hesitancy among the women, that they don't come to, they don't approach a medical help due to कि मुझे कोई problem नहीं है, मेरे बच्चों को कोई problem नहीं होनी चाहिए. So these are very unprecedented times. Did you see any hesitancy or talking about increased hesitancy among your patients when it came to due to COVID-19, when it came to breast cancer diagnosis, treatment, modalities, procedures, talking about those women जिनका treatment बीच में शायद रुक गया था, और those women जिनका surgery maybe lockdown की वजह से you guys may not have been able to take in patients also. So what were the challenges you faced when it came to these hesitancies in breast cancer patients?
See, there it can be divided into two parts. That was during the first lockdown and then second lockdown. During first lockdown, even the doctors, even the experts didn't know what this is, how it is going to behave. Even by seeing the patient, just a patient crossing by will lead to the COVID. Patient used to tell, हमने तो घर के बाहर पैर तक नहीं रखा. That means they used to feel कि हवा में COVID है, सब जगह हवा में COVID घूम रहा है. So that was the initial 15-20 days were very challenging, because we had seen sudden drop in the number of patients. If I can give from scale 100, it was less than 10.
Okay.
But slowly what we had seen, over the period of time, within a month, we had seen the patient who were already on chemotherapy, we had only 3% default, only 3%. 97% of our patient came. So that was really challenging, but it was really motivating for us to see, and it was very heartening for us to see that in spite of all challenges, all difficulties, getting pass, getting vehicle, getting a private vehicle, even the drivers were charging more than 10 to 20 times for making a travel. So still we had that, but yes, surgical patient had delays because there was a lot of hesitancy in doing surgery. Then COVID report used to get, once we get a COVID report now, it used to get 2 to 3 days to get the RT-PCR. The RT-PCR were not easily available in the smaller places. And you can imagine if he's in a district place or in a taluka place where the surgery could have been done, but there is no RT-PCR and nobody was ready to touch those patients without RT-PCR. So definitely we had seen the delayed in presentation, because everybody cannot come to a bigger hospital or bigger place, because the traveling itself was more costlier than the treatment itself.
Surely, sir. And one question that pops into my mind is that surgery itself has a lot of complications. Does COVID cause any complications when it comes to breast cancer surgery, sir?
See, if you can take proper precautions, we had seen hardly any mortality, nothing. So most important thing is proper screening. You have to be very careful about the screening of the patient, proper screening, proper history, proper clinical examination, give very small things, proper weightage, just your BP, pulse, respiration, chest, symptoms, cough, family history. And this will give us a very good idea. Just by look, we can say there is some wrong with this patient. And ultimately what we do is we do COVID, RT-PCR test. We never did any surgery with the antigen. We did with the RT-PCR test. So if that is the case, then it is safe. One thing we had very unfortunate in my practice, there was an 82 years female who got her operated done, and on day 5 she turned out to be COVID, RT-PCR positive, and she had a cough. We did repeat RT-PCR, she got positive. Then there was a huge panic in the family, because at that time there was no single bed available anywhere in the Nagpur. So by very difficulty we could get a proper bed for her. But third day she got discharged. She is still alive, and what she feels is just because we arranged a bed for her, she is alive. So it was not that way. It was just a small COVID, and she got out of it. It was a post-surgical patient, day 5, 82 years, diabetic, and still she is doing well. So that means the proper precautions generally and early diagnosis, if there is any suspicion, though she had a negative COVID report before surgery, still we had a suspicion why she is coughing, why she saturation is going down. Then we repeated the COVID, RT-PCR, it came to positive. So that means preemptive diagnosis and very a small suspicion should be taken into consideration.
You very rightly emphasized upon the early diagnosis, screening, and the precautions. So what else do you think is it important for a breast cancer patient to know before they make a decision about taking a treatment modality?
It's a very, very valid question, very important question here. Because when the breast cancer patient comes to the hospital, she has got one thing in mind: मुझे ऑपरेशन नहीं करना है, मुझे ब्रेस्ट नहीं निकालना है, भगवान करे मुझे बिना ऑपरेशन के हो जाए, डॉक्टर साहब कीमोथेरेपी से ठीक कर दीजिए ना, गोली दे दीजिए ना. So we give the 2 points in their mind. Generally, surgery is not done only in 2 circumstances. When the malignancy is already spread in the body, जैसे lungs, liver में चले गया, तो what you are going to achieve by removing the breast? First thing.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Second thing is, if the patient is very serious, if his heart is not functioning properly, her lungs are not good, if her kidneys are failed, or she is 85, 90 years on bed, what you are going to achieve by doing surgery? These are the only 2 conditions where surgery should be refused. Otherwise, there is no substitute for surgery. Surgery is the most important modality for curing the breast cancer. At any cost, it should be done. So second important thing is how can we reduce the assault of surgery? Because what the female wants is, kuch bhi karo, if I can, you can preserve my breast, I'm happy with you. So there are newer techniques of surgery which we are following day in day out, which is called breast conservation. What we do is we don't remove breast completely, we just remove the part of the breast, and thereby we can maintain the cosmesis, we can clear the disease, at the same time we can give the cure, but at the same time without compromising the outcome of the patient. So these are the newer things which has come into the clinical practice, and it has dramatically changed the outlook of the patient, especially young females, because in those these are the age group which are very demanding for the breast conservation, and we should give that option to them, because if you go into their mind, into their soul, then you will understand what trauma she is going through for sacrificing her breast.
So, actually, this is a really interesting conversation, and a lot of questions popping up in my head, but we are short of time. So, I'll ask you quick two questions on this. We talked about screening recently. So, how frequently, when once a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer, how frequently must she be monitored for this? And how frequent is it for a woman to get the monitoring?
There are two types of monitoring. One is when we talk about screening, screening is only for those patients who are not breast cancer. That is for normal patients. And for breast cancer, for what you had been discussing is a follow-up of the breast cancer patient.
Yes, sir.
The guidelines for the breast cancer follow-ups are very strict. Generally, we have to blindly follow the guidelines. And as per the guidelines, it says is for first 2 years, you should get a clinical examination done to your treating oncologist. There is no role of CT scan, PET scan, bone scan in asymptomatic patient. This is very important, because generally the patients goes to periphery or to local hospital, or then the local doctor says, "Tumhara PET scan nahi kiya?" Then how will know whether the disease has gone out? Then they come to us after 3 months, "Sir, PET scan kara dijiye." Guidelines are very strict, and we have to follow the guidelines. And guidelines says no such investigations to be done in asymptomatic patient. If you get symptoms in the form of some lump, or maybe liver swelling, or maybe some change in voice, or maybe cough, then you are justified in doing that. Otherwise, no. So the only investigation which has been recommended is every yearly breast mammography. This is in guidelines. We do slightly more investigations, but this is not in the guidelines. Generally, what we do is every 6 months we do X-ray chest and USG abdomen, पेट का sonography, छाती का X-ray, because this is the least we can do without doing much damage to their pockets. At the same time, we can have some very rough idea about the lung as well as the liver, because these are the two sides where there is a common chances of disease coming back. And third side is bone. So for bone, we do bone scan only if the patient complains in the form of back pain or some severe joint pains or bone pain, then only these investigations to be done. In screening part, screening is done in those patients who are not malignant. They don't have cancer. This is for normal general population. So the message should be very clear. Generally, which we talk about, they are very easy to say, mammography kar lijiye. I don't feel people do this. Even my mother has not done, in spite of telling twice, thrice. So that means, how can we train those people? The most important and most feasible thing which I see in Indian practice, with the type of patient we have, type of ignorance we have, type of difficulty in reaching the specialist and mammography we have, is why can't you have a cell breast examination? You can do it every monthly, maybe twice a month. It is very simple. Just stand in front of the mirror, just expose yourself, see the nipple size, just see the skin, whether there is an ulcer, there is a retraction of nipple, if there is a change in the color of the skin. Thirdly, and just this is the three finger test. Just 3 fingers. This is the pulp of the 3 fingers, and by 3 fingers you can just compress the breast in the rotation clockwise direction and see whether there is any lump palpable. Even if we can do this, we are diagnosing the lump which is 1 to 2 centimeters, which is T1 disease. T1 N0 is stage 1 disease. So that means even if we can diagnose the lump which is small but palpable, immediately if they are referred to a correct place, 100% chance है कि she will be cured. So clinical breast examination is the second part. Self breast examination patient खुद देखता है. Clinical breast examination का मतलब है कोई expert उसके breast को check करता है. And thirdly, it is mammography. If possible, if you have exposure, then the mammography should be done. For Western population, it is to be done after 50 years once. एक बार होनी चाहिए. Then you can do it every 3 yearly. For Indian population, I think we should do it after 40 years because we have got younger breast malignancies more as compared to the Western population.
So it's a decade, almost a decade of gap.
Yes. So we should do it not on the diagnosis, 5 to 10 years before the risk of diagnosis. So that is approximately 40 years. But for patients who have a very strong family history, it should be started by the age of 30 years.
Okay, sir. So it is in itself very traumatic for a woman to be diagnosed with breast cancer. And of course, lifestyle changes does cause breast cancer. It does increase the chances of breast cancer, especially in Indian women. But so once after a person is diagnosed with breast cancer, what during the treatment modalities, after the mammography, after during the surgery procedure, what should be the lifestyle changes? What should be the basic lifestyle changes that you suggest one must make in their life?
During treatment. This is during treatment.
During treatment, sir.
See, the most common problem which we see during treatment is there is a lot of myths about the treatment itself. There are a lot of myths about the food, and there are a lot of myths about the exercises. So
what kind of myths? If you could just name one or two.
Generally, maximum patients, they will not tell you, but most of the time, most of the patients बोलते हैं कि शक्कर खाने से कैंसर बढ़ता है. All सब लोग शुगर बंद कर देते हैं. दूध पीने से कैंसर बढ़ता है. They will stop all types of food. They will take all types of different जड़ी बूटियां, काढ़ा, then पपीते के पत्ते से प्लेटेड बढ़ते हैं. तो they take, but they don't know कि these are interacting with your body, with your drugs, with the liver, and generally we see a lot of toxicities in liver and kidneys because of these alternate medications which are interfering with the treatment. There are a lot of myths about the food. Generally, काम नहीं करना है, दिन भर लेट के रहना, आराम करो. So what we are seeing is generally they become more fatigued, their energy level goes down. So we suggest our patients they should be very active. They should have a good. What we do is कि they generally had seen एक बार बाल जाने के बाद लोग बाहर जाना बंद कर देते हैं. So we suggest them, why don't we do a proper cycling bicycle exercise in the home, which is static exercises like a gym cycle. It is very cheaply available. 5,000-6,000 rupees you will get a good cycle. So you can keep in front of the TV. आपको TV देखने का शौक है, भजन देख रहे हैं, news देख रहे. By that, just 20 minutes is enough to have a good cardiac activity, good exercises to your joints, and at the same time without damaging your joints. So that is one thing which we say. The second thing which we say is a good intake of food, very small amount of food over the frequent times. Good hydration. Generally, patient कई बार आते हैं ना पानी बहुत मात्रा में कम लेते हैं. So liquid is very important because जो भी आप दवा कीमो लग रही है, कैंसर की दवाइयाँ हो रही है, they get excreted to your kidney through urine. If you take less water, the excretion will be less. It will be delayed staying in your body. It will cause more toxicity. This is a very small thing, but it has got a huge impact in your outcome. Thirdly is they should have the treatment should not be just treatment. It should be healing. सब कुछ होना चाहिए, not cure. Healing में mental healing, physical healing, and then disease healing. This all three comes into the healing. So आपका brain के लिए भी कुछ चाहिए, and for that meditation is excellent for our patient. It gives a lot of positivity. It gives them the will to fight, because generally these are the patients who always keep in the mind कि मुझे क्यों हुआ, why me? मैंने तो किसी का कोई बुरा ही नहीं किया था. I had not done anything wrong. मैंने किसी का कोई खराब नहीं किया था. भगवान ने मेरे साथ ही क्यों किया? ये मेरे कर्मों के फल है. ये भी ऐसी चीजें. These are the negative things, and for that they go on suffering from inside. So आप देखोगे the best patients are patients who are very poor. Why? एक तो उनके पास गूगल मोबाइल और व्हाट्सएप यूनिवर्सिटी से दूर रहते हैं. Yes, sir. They don't search any rubbish things on in the mobile. And second thing is they have a very good tendency. सब भगवान की इच्छा, ईश्वर जो चाहेगा. So जब जैसे तुम उस ऊपर वाले पे डालते हो, सब चीजें acceptance आ जाती है. Otherwise, I had seen with the educated people, they will go through every rubbish in the Google. और जो डॉक्टर बोलेगा उसके एग्जैक्टली अपोजिट ही करेंगे, बिकॉज दे बिलीव मोर ऑन दिस गूगल थिंग, शुगर नहीं लेना, दूध नहीं लेना, सफेद नहीं लेना, खवा नहीं खाना, वो गोमूत्र लेने का, ये सब दुनिया भर के और देन दे इट क्रिएट लॉट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स एंड इंटरेक्शन विद आवर ट्रीटमेंट. So for I don't blame them, but there has to be some evidence, there has to be some basis for doing this, because it should not unnecessarily delay or interfere with the correct treatment part.
So you amazingly described how important it is for to maintain the mental health of a patient during
Yes.
this diagnose when once
Mhm.
he or she, especially she, is diagnosed with breast cancer. So what will be your advice? I guess we have extended the conversation, but I think we couldn't help it. I couldn't help it myself, because this has been a really riveting conversation with you, sir, and I think the viewers will also find it very interesting and fruitful. So what will be your message to the viewers as such when you get this opportunity on this breast cancer awareness month special?
See, first thing is कि don't take it very negative, because कैसा होता है ना कि कुछ चीजें जो आप मॉडिफाई कर सकते हो, कुछ चीजें जो आप मॉडिफाई नहीं कर सकते हो. ठीक है, अगर आपको नहीं है, अगर आपको है, these are two class. Okay, if you don't have malignancy, keep yourself very healthy. आप सिंपल, आप इसमें ना, हमारा प्रॉब्लम क्या है ना कि वी आर गोइंग वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड नाउ. समझ रहे, हमको वी हैव टू गो बैक टू अवर रूट्स. हमारे रूट्स में वही था, फ्रिज का पानी नहीं था, मटके का पानी था. Why मटका? It is a mineral water. Mineral है वो. You are getting a very fresh mineral with a high oxygenation because of the pores. आप देखोगे कि हम फ्रेश खाना खाते थे, हम ये टिन फूड्स नहीं खाते थे. We never used to have a junk foods. हम सूर्यास्त से पहले ही खाते थे पहले. तो we had a very good lifestyle. हम अर्ली मॉर्निंग उठते थे, अभी तो 1:30 बजे सोते हैं, अर्ली मॉर्निंग सोते हैं. So this changes. And then the second thing is lack of exercise. You see, in last 1.5 years, I had seen a lot of my friends have gained 10-12 kgs of weight during COVID. So this is definitely going to have an impact. So आपको बहुत सिंपल लाइफ रखनी है. भगवान ने एक ही जिंदगी दी आपको, अच्छी से जियो उसको. Money doesn't give you happiness. It is this your body, your spirituality, your brain, and your positivity, which is going to give you tremendous
But sir,
happiness.
when you talk about this, just a little point I would like to interrupt in between that. जब आप when you are talking about that lifestyle changes that we have been we have gone through, we have transit. So pehle there was a lot of purity in things, and nowadays this term adulteration has come into effect
Yeah,
so much that it is so.
very very big.
Yes, sir. In previous conversations also, I heard it from few doctors that impurities can also cause breast cancer. So uske bare mein what would you say? Any
See,
kind of cancer.
this one of the major reasons of malignancies in all types, not in breast cancer itself.
Yeah.
Can you imagine कि आपके दूध में यूरिया मिला के है? Can you
Yes, sir.
imagine your sweets are mixed with the putty which we use for painting our walls? Can you imagine your vegetables which has been given color, green color, just because it should look good? So this is the stupidity which we see in Indian people only. Indian, हमको जल्दी बड़ा गरीब अमीर बनना है at any cost. So these are the things which are definitely increasing the malignancy. Again, second important thing is fertilizer. It is a tremendous use of fertilizers, and whatever we are eating is nothing but a vegetables with a huge amount of pesticides. आप ये सोचिए कि ये पेस्टिसाइड जब इतने रेसिस्टेंट कीड़ों को मारता है, तो it is definitely going to have some damage in your DNA level, and this is definitely going to increase the risk of malignancy. And आप देखोगे कि पंजाब में there are certain villages where got such a huge level of insecticide use, and the whole of the village has, every family has got malignancy. So this is, again I am telling you, you have to go back to your roots. ये हमारे पहले नहीं था, ये हमारे पिछले जमाने में नहीं था. We used to get fresh vegetables, we used to get fresh fruits, we used to get good quality of grains. Abhi everything is being adulterated, everything has been mixed with the fertilizers, and the high concentration of fertilizer adulteration. सब्जियां अभी आप देखोगे तो कई बार तो देखेंगे कि it is been cultivated along this nala gutters. So
Yes, sir.
gutter is what? It is every दुनिया की हर गंदगी उसमें आई हुई है. The all
Pollution.
types of toxins, chemicals, everything, and the plants are absorbing it. Plant absorb कर रहे हैं ना ये सब चीजें, and you are eating it. So definitely it is going to impact your GI system. So that's why in last 7-8 years we are seeing a lot of young patients with the malignancies in the gastric malignancies, colonic malignancies, rectal malignancies, which were never seen in the literature also. So we are just on the tip of the iceberg.
And basically, maybe that is the reason that we have slightly, there's a distinction compared to the population of the world. There's a decade of distinction between the Indian population and the worldly population as well.
Yeah, ये आप कभी सोच सकते हो क्या कि दूध में यूरिया मिला के कोई बेचेगा? ये हमारे देश में संभव है. हाँ, it's not. आप अगर I will give you an example. I will not name the village which I belong to. So in that place, he had a supply of approximately some 1,000 liters of milk. But उसकी जो मिठाई बनती है वो 4 से 6,000 लीटर मिल्क के आसपास की बनती है. तो where from this compensation is there? It is nothing but adulteration. And for that, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इस दिवाली में सबने ये संकल्प करना चाहिए कि खुद घर की बनाई हुई अपनी मिठाइयाँ ले, जमे जब तक की कोशिश करे कि अपने आसपास में जो लोग पहचान के हैं, छोटे लोग थे, उनसे ले, because chances of adulteration with them is very less as compared to the bigger ones, because there you cannot make out. It is so well prepared. Paneer, again, paneer, you can see most of the time paneer is adulterated.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So what would be your take on that? What would you tell the patients, the women, basically, who must be watching the show, who must be unaware about certain facts, or must be hesitant to approach the medical help? What would you say to them?
The first important thing is कि अब आँख बंद करने से अंधेरा नहीं होता. This is very important thing. तो आप आपके सिम्टम्स को अगर इग्नोर करते हैं, that doesn't mean कि आपके पास वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. आप जितना जल्दी इसके लिए कंसल्ट करोगे, उतना जल्दी आपको आगे में फायदा होगा. I had seen the patient coming very late because नहीं सर मुझे डर लग रहा था, but ultimately आपको आना पड़ा. वो स्टेज 1 में आते तो आप आज क्यों रहते, आप स्टेज 3 स्टेज 4 में आगे तो आपकी ट्रीटमेंट बहुत एडवांस रहेगी. तो नेवर इग्नोर्स योर बॉडी सिम्टम्स. Especially for breast cancer, you can see during your bath, नहाते वक्त आप देख सकते हो कि आपको कोई गांठ है क्या. अगर आपको कोई सी प्रकार का ब्रेस्ट में गांठ दिख रही है, that means mass in the breast. Any changes in your nipple, any discharge from the nipple, any buccal axillary mass, you should consult a good person, that is good gynecologist, if possible a breast surgeon, so that the investigations are done in a right way. Otherwise, most of them had seen if they consult a normal person, kuch nahi, they don't touch also, and they start with some multivitamins, vitamin E and something, and patient go on taking this. And secondly, always consult the right person. There is no malignancy treatment for alternate medication. I've never seen, but most of the time they end up getting all homeopathic, Ayurvedic treatments, and the patient comes in the very advanced stages at that time. So best is to go with the correct guidelines, correct treatment, early diagnosis. Keep the level of your ignorance on the lower side. Be motivated to take the correct diagnosis, correct person, correct treatment, and never ignores your symptom.
Thank you, sir. It was a really riveting conversation, and I wish I could extend this to furthermore because a lot of questions still in my mind, but we are short of time, and we have covered almost a major topics related to breast cancer. May it be early diagnosis, screening, male breast cancer, and the preventions. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Thank you for so much positive words, so many positive words for our viewers. I hope you find it really, really fruitful and riveting. For more such videos and updates, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Medically Speaking, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Koo, and visit our website, www.medicallyspeaking.in. Thank you for watching. Thank you, sir, for joining.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.